Alright gang, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new series, and this is going to be my take on a vintage survival. Now this is not a challenge, not a survival challenge. It is a vintage survival though. What does that mean? Well, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We are on the map that I'm going to pronounce very, very poorly here. Szpakowo, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm probably completely wrong on that, but anyway, that is the map that we're on. And it's a fantastic map, man. It's a perfect for a vintage survival type of playthrough, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's start off first what we're going to start with, and then we'll get into what it means by a vintage survival, and it not being a specific set challenge like we would in the past. So we have a Volvo BM2654. I love this thing. Actually, I forgot to turn the beacons off. I need to do that. Love this thing. It's a fantastic tractor. It's going to be a nice workhorse for us. We have the J50 cargo trailer over here. I've utilized this before. We're utilizing this in the one-tile challenge. There are not many vintage trailers that are available to be downloaded on ModHub right now, so you got to make do with what we got. We also have this Rau, I'm assuming, 2,700 liter trailed tank. So basically it's a sprayer, which is going to be extremely useful for us. We have the Massey Ferguson 310 harvester, which I believe this came out somewhere in the 80s, I think. If I looked it up, somewhere in the 80s. We've got some seed box, I guess, and a fertilizer box, which really those should probably be underneath that cover, but nonetheless. Some IBCs here. It looks like herbicide and fertilizer, which is great. We have this old unique plow here. It's a Lizard, but it's a very unique plow. This is, I think, from the 90s. Might be from the 80s. I don't know. Since we've been doing all these other different series we've got running on, they finally are here. The old school case and the John Deere 5100s that I like to talk about. Direct drills. These things are fantastic. And so we got the Case International 5100 here. I love this thing. And, yeah, that's pretty much all we own to start with. It's not a lot. It's very little, actually, as that matter of fact. Well, obviously, we own this shed. Kind of an open-air shed, but sort of sectioned off, too. I don't really know how to describe this shed, but it's kind of nice. But clearly, it's been here for a while, and maybe they were going to eventually completely enclose it, and then they just decided not to. I don't know. Anyway, as far as our living conditions, not very good. We're currently living in a tent. I do have a nice grill here, and then we're just air drying all of our clothes there. But not bad, right? It's not bad. It'll make do for the time being. We have $0 in the bank. We have no loan we have to pay off, nothing like that. That's why it's not specifically a challenge. And we start with a lot more equipment than we typically would under a challenge type of situation, right? So what's the point of it then? Well, really, the point is we're only allowed to purchase, utilize, whatever you want to call it, equipment that is from the 20th century. To make it easier, anything from 1999 or older can be utilized in this series. Anything newer than that is not allowed to be utilized by us, because this is a vintage challenge, right? A vintage survival, excuse me. So, you know, that's kind of the goal here. We're just going to try to build up a farm, make it successful, get some money going in the bank, and see where we get to. Now, it is August today. We do have a couple of fields to harvest, and speaking of that, let's kind of take a bird's eye view here of what we own, at least from the map perspective. So, the land we're currently on here, it also has a field here. Now, this field is literally, I'm going to go into the drone here really quick. Well, there was no drones, I guess, in the 90s, were there? Yeah, there might have been drones. Anyway, we'll give you a bird's eye view. Let's just put it that way. It's a grass field right now. We don't have anything currently to do grass. So, we're probably going to have to plow that up and put something else in the ground, potentially. We have this one shed here, which really is not enough. It really doesn't fit the harvester. It doesn't fit the drill. So it's a nice shed, but not a lot of things can fit in there at current. And then we own this field here. It's a very skinny field here. It's not a bad size, but a very skinny field nonetheless. We own that one. We own this field here, which is a corn field. Now, we don't have a corn header or anything like that, so we're going to have to see what we can do with that. Maybe we potentially can find a header to purchase that can be utilized on that harvester. If not, then unfortunately, this is probably just going to have to be plowed up. Or maybe we could turn it into chaff if we are able to get enough money to do so. And then finally, we also own this strip here that is also ready to harvest. These are relatively large fields for the size of the map, but they're very, very skinny, right? So there's not a whole lot there. There's only 2 or 3 passes probably, and we're done with that. So that is what we own. And our goal is just to try to continue to succeed here, build the farm up from the position that it's currently in. We have no money whatsoever. Leasing is not allowed. We are allowed to do contracts in this series, but there's a big but. The only contracts we are allowed to do are contracts that we can utilize with our own equipment that we own. So in other words, if I see a contract out there that I like, but I don't have that piece of equipment or machinery, guess what? We can't do it. So that's kind of the goal here. That's kind of the series. That's what we're going to shoot for. That's what we're going to aim for. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I've always wanted to run one of these vintage type of survival series, but you know, it just never worked out for one reason or another. I'm going to turn the map on. I really don't know this map very well. I really kind of just bought the equipment for it, kind of set everything up for the most part where we're at, but I really didn't look around. So we're going to kind of learn this map together. Now, a lot of you might already know this map very well. As I mentioned, do not. I am very, very new to this map, so it's gonna be a minute for me to figure out where I'm going. Sometimes I'm probably not gonna be going the right way from time to time. There might be faster ways to get places, but now is this our field? I think this is our field. Yeah, I think this is our field. Now, what I'd like to do is chop this. I don't want to drop it. I want to chop it. There we go. Because, quite frankly, we don't have anything to pick up the straw, right? So we want to chop it, and maybe we'll get that first application of fertilizer. Now, a couple other minor notes here about this series that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for us. First off, we are not allowed to use GPS of any sort, so no steering assist, nothing like that. I can utilize a worker, but I'm not allowed to use the GPS, so I can't use the steering assist to help me, anything like that. We have to do it old school, right? Because typically, well, most equipment from the 90s probably didn't have any GPS equipment, and certainly nothing from the 80s or 70s, right? So there might have been a couple of things that might have had some very basic GPS type of things, but GPS really wasn't a thing in the 90s either, right? So, you know, it had to be late 90s if there was going to be anything at all. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. We're going to do this like we did in FS22 and before I started recording, how I did it back in 17, etc., right? 19, 17, etc. Which I'm kind of excited about, man. I like doing it the old-fashioned way. I feel like, you know, the steering assist is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it does feel a little cheaty sometimes, right? You can literally just line up on the lines and you're off you go, right? You don't really have to worry about anything. It does it all for you. You just hold the button in. Or you turn on, you know, the cruise control, and off it goes on the line. You don't have to move anything. You don't have to do anything. So we're not going to allow any steering assist. Now, I want you to keep me honest. As we carry along here, there's very well could be a situation where I just have a brain fart and I turn on the steering assist and I don't mean to, just out of habit. So if I do that, you've got to yell at me in the comments. Make sure you yell at me in the comments. I'm going to do everything I can to not utilize the steering assist. I believe I don't have precision farming on or anything like that because really, I mean, you wouldn't really, I mean, you'd have some stuff, I guess, in the 90s, but you wouldn't really have the stuff we have nowadays, right, as far as precision farming goes. So we're not going to have that on for this series. The next series we run is going to have it, though. I will fully give you a bit of a spoiler there, I guess. Okay, it's not actually giving me that application of fertilizer like I thought it was going to. Dang. That sucks. I thought it was going to give me an application of fertilizer from that. Oh, well. I don't know why it's not. I would have thought it would be. Huh. Oh, well. Still, this is what I would like to call, and I always utilize it a lot in other series, is, you know, free money. I utilize this money, right? And this is money that we're getting for free because these fields were purchased when we bought everything that we did buy. We didn't put any effort into putting this crop in, so any money we get out of this is just free money. Now, it looks like we are going to be full here before we finish this field, so we are going to have to get into the Volvo and head on over here and unload the Volvo. Now, it's August. It's not going to be the best time to sell this wheat. We don't have a silo, so we're going to have to at least sell some of it before we try to start holding on to stuff, because we don't have any money at all, right? And if we want to hold stuff and store stuff, we need a silo. That's something we don't have. Silos, I think, are going to be difficult for me to find as well, as far as old school silos right now. It is still, well, I guess it's not that early anymore, but to me it still feels a little relatively early in the Farming Simulator 25 lifespan, right? So there is still, it's still kind of difficult to find silos that would be what I would call from 25 plus years ago, right? That's crazy to me that 2000, I guess, was 25 years ago. And that's insane to me. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. Now, as we move along here, and I utilize the map in the left-hand corner, which probably I shouldn't even be utilizing now that I think about it as a vintage survival, right? I was just talking about GPS doesn't really exist. You wouldn't really probably have that map either, would you? I mean, I guess maybe you would. Right? You wouldn't have me moving along the lines there, but you would have some kind of a basic map. A paper map, right? That's how we used to do it. We'd have a paper map that we could look at. So I guess we'll leave that. I guess we'll allow that. We will allow the map to be popped up, because that's just going to just envision that it's a paper map that we're looking at. Now, this is the low capacity here for this trailer. The one we have in the one-tile challenge is much larger than this. So I really don't know how much it will actually hold there. I don't know if we're going to need to do multiple trips. I would assume we probably will. But I guess we'll find out. Now, rain's in the forecast. I don't know exactly when the rain's going to get here. That's another thing. Even though we can go into the menu and look at it, really we shouldn't be. The news would tell you when the rain's coming, right? The Weather Channel, maybe the radio. But you wouldn't really have the details that we have now. But I guess the Weather Channel or the news would be like, rain's going to be coming around X time period, right? So maybe we could look at it. All right, we're going to say we can look at it. 1800. So we need to get this field done and our other field done by 1800. We got to be quick here. That's going to catch up to us faster than you think. Now, we do have the time on 2 times. It probably is not going to move away from 2 times. So the odds are we're going to be able to get both of them done, honestly. They're not big fields, so the odds are we're going to get both of them done. But it is something that we have to be aware of, though, right? Because we're doing 1 episode per month. And just to kind of talk a little bit more about the details of the series itself, we do have periodic plowing on. Fieldstone lime are not on. Everything else that you would expect to have on is all on. So what I mean by that is disasters are on. Crop destruction's on. Seasonal growth is on. All of that is on. The only thing we do not have on is there's no lime and there's no rocks or gravel or stubble or whatever you want to call it. Gravel, stones, whatever. Those are not on. Otherwise, everything else is on. I think it's going to be a fun series, gang. I hope you do too. A little bit more, I was going to say relaxed. I don't think relaxed is the right word, because we're going to have a hard time with these old machinery, old equipments, right? We're not going to be able to get any kind of big behemoth things, but having said that, the map we picked is really perfect for this series. It's not like we need those big behemoths for this map. Most of the fields are very skinny and small, like this one. Well, actually, this is relatively a big field for the map, but most of them are like that, like over there. They're very small, right? They're not a very, very large field at all. So a vintage type of equipment, smaller type of equipment makes perfect sense for this map. Now, I said it's not really a challenge, and it's not. So what really, you know, what specific goals are you going to try to accomplish before you say, hey, we're good enough to be done? Well, I would like to have many more fields than we currently have. As you saw right now, we technically have 3 fields, counting the field behind us that is currently a grass field, right? We have 3 fields. I want to have a lot more than that. Ideally, I want to have so many fields, it's crazy to see how many fields we have. I don't really have a specific number in mind, but I want to have a lot of fields. So I guess you can count that as one of our goals that we're trying to accomplish, is have a ton of fields. I also want to have a healthy bank account. What's that mean? Well, you know, we're working in a small operation, right? Small operation, old equipment. I think if we have somewhere upwards of $250,000, $500,000 in the bank, and we have multiple fields, and we have multiple pieces of equipment where we don't need anything else, meaning we've got, you know, one of everything that we would specifically need to run and operate everything we need to do, right? So meaning we need to have a solid fertilizer spreader, you know, cultivator, you know, everything. We need to have kind of one of everything. We're able to manage anything and everything, any kind of crop we wanted to do, we really could do for the most part, within reason. Obviously, some things we're not going to be able to do. What I mean by that is, you know, we're not going to be able to do stuff like green beans right now, or cotton, things like that, where the machines are way too new and they're outrageously expensive. We've got to be only utilizing stuff that's from 1999 or older. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't have machines back then in 1999. They might have. They probably did. But as of current, there's nothing on ModHub for that type of equipment from the 90s or 1990 or older, right? If something comes out, we can obviously shift gears and start including that, but at its current stance, that is not a possibility, right? So, all right, that field is done. This is nearly full. It's kind of what I expected. So we need to figure out where we're going to go sell this wheat at. I'm going to cut up here really quick. I'll just let the harvester start unloading here. It's not going to take long. Wheat. Yeah, pretty much as bad as it can be. It's about $500 difference, but it is what it is. There's not really a whole lot you can do, right? Let's see. 1,291 looks like the best, and that is very close, actually, so that's fantastic. The zoo, evidently, is where we're going. I don't know where that is. Literally right around the corner, actually. That's actually really, really good. Okay. Let's go sell this, then we'll make a little bit of money. We'll have to figure this out together where we're going. As I said, I don't really know anything about the map, with the exception of the few fields that we own and the current area where all of our equipment is being housed. Our yard, if you will. Okay, so it's right there. I don't see a way to get in there from here. So I think we're going to have to go all the way down here to the main road and then hang a left and come up here. Now, the shop is right here. That much I know. Guess better put the beacons back on here. All right, we're good. Nobody's coming. All right, let's see if we can make some money here, even if it's a little bit. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's really good. $5,424 off of that. I will take that all day. All day. That's a pretty nifty tractor over here. I like that tractor. I don't know what this is. to Dultzfar. I don't think I've ever heard of that. The Agcoplis? Agcoplis? Huh. I don't see that in the shop, so that would be sweet to have that one in the shop. Anyway, there's something else in there too. There's a little wheel loader over there, huh? Okay, let's head back over here. We're going to head into the harvester. We're going to get into the other field. We'll get that harvested up. We're probably just going to sell that one outright as well. Now, a couple of minor things really quick to talk about. You know, we talked about the main rules here, right? We're vintage, so 1999 and older. We're only allowed to do a contract if it's utilizing a piece of equipment that we actually own. We cannot lease or utilize any equipment other than our own for a contract. We're trying to get $250,000 to $500,000 in the bank solidified, plus having all the other equipment that we possibly would need. We want to own multiple fields in this area, and multiple fields meaning I would say at least 100. It might be a stretch to aim for 100, but that's kind of what I would like to get, is 100. Let me turn around over here in a neighbor's area here. This just looks like an overgrown yard they need to clean up, so I'm just going to take care of that, and we'll just put this over here. Turn the beacons off. We'll go ahead and turn that off for now. Let's jump into the Massey Ferguson here. No loans whatsoever. We're not allowed to take a loan out. If we need money, we just do a contract, right? No loans at all. So I'm going to make it pretty difficult on myself, honestly, considering everything I just mentioned. There's not really a lot of vintage equipment out there yet. I probably should have waited for a little bit longer before I decided to take this kind of challenge. Well, it's not even a challenge. This series up. I keep calling it a challenge because I'm so used to them being challenges, but I'm saying this one's not a challenge based on the fact there's not enough equipment. Whoa. Why are we not, what's going on here? We just killed crop, I didn't pick anything up. Is that not wheat? Oh, it's barley. Oh my gosh. Way to go, Z. Way to go, buddy. I swear that was wheat. I looked at it, it looked like wheat to me. I didn't actually look closer to it. Whoops. Well, there you go. There's already a mistake. Things happen, man. I'm sure somebody's yelling at me in the comments about it already, but that's fine. It happens, man. It happens. I'm not perfect. Let's get going. Let's get this field done. It won't take us long. We should be able to get it done before the rain gets here. Alright, well that was not too bad, gang. We're nearly done here. Not sure if it's all going to fit into the trailer or not. I doubt it. If anything from the last one tells you anything, I don't think it's going to happen. Not bad. Now, what I want to do, I'll do a quick autosave here. I knew that was coming, but what I want to do is kind of look at what can be planted right now. Canola can be put in now. That's pretty much it. But we can do barley, wheat, etc., all of that in the next episode, technically, or the next month, I guess I should say. That's our other goal, right? As it normally is for me. But if you just knew and stumbled across this, I normally, unless, you know, things come up and we have to make a bit of a slight deviation, but normally I do 1 episode per month. That's how I normally run every series that I do. But as I mentioned, from time to time there may be a situation where we, you know, jump a month in the same episode, something like that. I certainly don't want to do episodes just to do them for the sake of saying I'm only doing 1 episode per month. If it gets to a situation where there's nothing for us to do and we're not in a specific challenge where it would make it easier for us, then we will skip a month if it makes sense. But very rarely does that happen. Now, barley, actually, I should check. It might not be the same place for barley, and it probably isn't. Barley. It is not. We're going pretty far away for this one. Where is this at? All the way up here. Okay. So we're going to get to see a lot of the map here that I have yet to see. So let's see. The easiest way to get there looks like to hang a right here. Hang a left at our yard area. All the way down to the junction and then hang a right, and we should run into it is what it looks like. So yeah, let's get set up here. Let me turn on the beacons, get the right turn signal on. Let's get everything sorted out here, and I will see you at the sell point. Okay, we made it. That was very pretty on the way here. I really like this map so far. Really enjoying it. Plenty of cows and horses on the right on the way up here. That was awesome to see all of those there. There was like 10 horses there. That was fantastic. Okay, so it looks like here's our sell point right here. There are some way too new machines here for us. They just gloss over that. It's really just matter of us, right? But those are way too new for this type of series, but that's okay. I can't really do anything about those. I mean, we were making some pretty decent money off those 2 fields, honestly. $12,918 is what we ended up with from both harvests. I feel like that's really good. I feel like that's actually almost too good. We might have to look into that and see if maybe we can bump the price we get down a little bit. That might be too much for us. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below if you think that's too much. It may not be. I don't remember exactly how expensive these fields are. If they're very expensive, then it probably isn't. But if they're not too expensive, then that might be a little bit too much for us. This is a very busy road here in comparison to the other roads we've been on so far. This looks like it's the main, like, highway, maybe. What are you beeping at me for? I have a feeling I'm going to have some issue with the cars here. We're going to have some Walters, some Scarletts, some Byrons. Everyone else, they're all going to be coming out of the woodwork, I feel like, on this series. Hey, look at this. I talked about this a long time ago. Is it just me, or does that kind of look like a minion? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Every time I drive past it, that's just what it makes me think of. It looks like a minion to me. Anyway. Let's head back to the farm. That is a lot of horses, man. I don't think I've ever seen a map that has so many horses in one small area like that. That's really awesome to see that. I love that. Oh! I didn't even notice this on the way there. There's a bird nest with a bird up there on the telephone line, or whatever you want to call it, power line pole. How cool is that? That's awesome. That's a really big nest. I don't know what kind of bird that is, but that's a really big nest up there. I love this map so far, man. I really do. This is fantastic. This is a really, really nice map. Really happy with it. Got a nice little creek there, too. If we decide we want to put down a greenhouse, we've got easy access to that. Hopefully. Yeah, it looks like we can get over there, probably, and get it. Now, that's not our land, but I still think we could probably make it work, right? Alright, we need to bring the harvester back here. We still have some barley in here. I'm going to... I don't know what to do with the barley here. I was thinking about making that other trip back there, but I feel like that was a very, very long ways for not a whole lot of else. Not a whole lot of else. Not that big of an increase, right? Maybe it was worth it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm seeing if I can find another way out here. I feel like this is a way that we could go that would be faster, because this doesn't look like it's been blocked off by any kind of fence of any sort. This looks like a very much overrun area here. Yeah, we can get through here. That saves us a slight bit of time, so there's a little bit of a shortcut we just found. I think what I'm going to do is put this into the trailer. I'm going to put the trailer underneath the cover, and I'm going to store the barley for right now. We're not going to be selling or harvesting, I guess I should say, anything else for a little while. Now, that's not really going to keep for very long, but as long as I keep it under cover, it should be okay. I mean, you normally sometimes you drop, you know, your harvest into, you know, a barn or a silo of some sort, right? So I think we'll be okay here. Now, it's open air, so again, not really the most ideal situation, but I think it'll be okay for 1 month. And then maybe we can gain a little bit of extra funds off this small amount that's remaining here. Okay. We're going to leave the episode at that point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully this is something that you're interested in. I'm extremely excited for this series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun trying to make sure we keep to the older equipment and utilizing the small equipment, and hopefully a lot of smaller fields. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll see you in the next episode.